My recent experience of having to undergo a procedure got me thinking about Mother's Day. It wasn't a crazy procedure. It was lady parts, and there were no cuts. It was, 2 to 3 days, convalescing. But it did get me thinking about Mother's Day. And the question, who comforted you when you were a child, when you were convalescing? And I asked myself that same question. And one of my recollections is I didn't want to burden my mom. I didn't want to burden her. She was going through a lot of stuff, and she was not great when I was feeling not well. She got impatient. It just wasn't safe to feel unwell. Or weirdly, she felt better when I was really unwell later on when I was an adult. But I'm talking about as a child. So a bit of mixed messaging. You see, my mother, bless her, she's passed, and I really, want her to be in peace. But I would say that my whole experience around having a mother was not one where I could just be myself, just rest and relax and be a kid. Quite the opposite. I won't go too much into my story, but what I will say is, what about you? How are you doing with this Mother's Day coming up? I call it the mother womb. The mother womb, I said. Interestingly, my procedure was on the womb, but the mother wound is what I really meant to say. I've been so fortunate to have so many people reach out to me and my beautiful husband take care of me while I was convalescing from the procedure. But it's interesting to me that it got me thinking as we're leading up to Mother's Day here in North America. Who comforted you? Who comforted you? And were you okay when you were in a state of needing comforting? And if your answer is, no one comforted me, I comforted me, I developed that self-soothing ability, then you likely have the mother wound. And I want you to know that the Mother's Day thing can bring up so many things. I mean, I had trouble I couldn't get pregnant. I had infertility issues for 8 years. And thankfully I'm past all that. I've turned 60 recently, so I'm totally past all that. But for anyone who's feeling this bereft feeling of not having a child, or you had an amazing relationship with your mother and your mother's passed, or you had the mother wound as I did, where you had a very complicated relationship with your mother. If you have the mother wound, I want you to know you're not alone. Extremely common, very common. So many people have the mother wound. Comfort yourself and reach out to beautiful friends. I hope you have some. And also, if you don't, visualize yourself as a little child being loved and comforted by an imaginary mom that is kind and benevolent and all about you when you need it as a little girl or a little boy. And understand this. Your nervous system does not differentiate between real or imagined. In other words, if you generate the imagery of self-care and self-love, and self-care specifically as needed in convalescing times, your nervous system will act like it's real. The mother wound is no joke. It is a primary wound, and you need to care for it your entire life. And, I'm a psychotherapist, and let me tell you, that does not exempt me from having the feelings of the mother wound. But the beautiful thing is that you can recover through self-care, through reaching out and creating other kind of surrogate energies that create that maternal feeling in your life and in your being. And as I just went through this sort of procedure thing, and I'm fine, I'm totally fine, thank goodness, thank the universe, and it wasn't that serious. I did get to think about, how do I experience the pattern of feeling like reaching out and feeling cared for, and how did that get formed as when I was a child, not being able to really relax as a child, because my mother was just going through so much. In fact, she had her own mental, emotional issues, and she would take out her stuff on us kids a lot. And it was really kind of scary, to be very frank. It was very scary. And I'm not telling you that to feel sorry for me. I'm just telling you a lot of people experience that. And as a result, they need to soothe themselves, care for themselves. And that does generate the mother wound. Or one of them anyways. There are many mother wounds. One is this one. I do need to say that later on in life, when I became a very independent adult, almost hyper-independent, my mother would only feel good if I was sort of doing unwell. Was I unwell, doing poorly, almost like a way to kind of control me or feel like she had some purpose in my life. But that was a bit of a weird kind of toxic experience as well. So I want you to know there's so many versions of the mother wound, and I want you to not feel alone. I see you. I hear you. You are not transparent. You are there, and if you've been drawn here and you experience the mother wound as you go into this Mother's Day weekend, just drop me a comment. You're not alone. I'm thinking about you.